These are violent and uncertain times, but at least people aren't going hungry.
The biggest problem now in AlJazeera is all these civilians running around with weapons. And the second problem comes from the west. We are afraid that the Gaddafi Air Force will bomb us.
For now, there's no shortage of food. There's a good selection of basic products in the shops and even some luxury items. But ports in Libya are out of action for now. So when the stocks in the warehouses run out, these shelves may start to look empty.
We have problems because a lot of food comes from western Libya and the roads are closed because of the fighting. Other products come from the Arab souk in Benghazi and that's closed as well. So you can find imported goods in the shops, but not local produce.
Families can still put a meal on the table, but vegetables and other fresh produce are scarce. If the fighting gets closer to AlJazeera, the supply of food will inevitably be affected. Jackie Rowland, Al Jazeera in eastern Libya.
Now, a lot of conflicting information has been coming out of Libya. State TV is now saying that Muammar Gaddafi's forces have recaptured the important coastal cities of Zawiya and Misrata from rebels. It also says government forces are heading for Libya's second largest city of Benghazi, that's in the country's east, and the center of a 2-week-old revolt against Gaddafi's 41-year rule. Joining us on the phone from Misrata is a resident, Sadun Misrati. Sadun Misrati, thanks for speaking to us. Firstly, can you tell us whether government forces are in control of where you are?
There is absolutely no grounds for that claim whatsoever, particularly from the town where I'm speaking from Misrata.
And what do you know of the area of the other information that State TV has been giving about Zawiya and Benghazi? What are you hearing about government control in those areas?
Obviously, Zawiya, looking back at yesterday and the day before, have been seeing some activities between the protesters and the pro-Gaddafi militias on the ground. We have no further reports from the ones that you have coming in from Zawiya last night and yesterday. But for the pro-Gaddafi militias to claim that they have taken up the city, in my opinion, that would be completely rubbished by the people of Zawiya. As far as Benghazi and the east of the country is concerned, the reports coming in this morning suggest that there is no grounds for the claim that have been made by the Libyan television and the Libyan propaganda machine.
Tell us about where you are, Misrati. What has the scene been like there? Has there been fighting?
Well, the last couple of nights have been quite calm in the city of Misrata. There's this small pocket of militia group loyal to Gaddafi that has been holding on to a particular area in the Air Force base in the south of Misrata. They've been surrounded mostly by the protesters and the people of Misrata. This is the army based in Misrata and sided with the people, but no further actions military-wise has been going on in the last couple of nights. The concern mostly is around the kidnapping of individuals. I think the number now has topped up to 80 individuals being kidnapped in Misrata alone, and this is the actual issue that the city is dealing with at the moment.
Is it clear who's doing the kidnapping and why?
A number of groups have been identified and some have been captured. The majority of those are people loyal to the Gaddafi regime, are either ex-military or ex-revolutionary committee members, and they have been actually paid to do that kind of to do these kind of operations on an individual basis. I think 1 or 2 locations in Misrata have been identified, stormed, and a number of people have been found hostages in these places. And I think the work is going on into cleansing the city of such activities at the moment.
We're speaking to Sadun Misrati, who is speaking to us from Misrata and is denying government or state TV claims that that area is under government control. Okay, let's get you a reminder of the very latest from Libya. Heavy gunfire has been heard in the Libyan capital, Tripoli. A government spokesman has told our correspondent the bursts of machine gun fire are celebrating success against anti-Gaddafi fighters in other parts of the country. State TV also showed pictures of tanks, armored personnel carriers and other weapons it says were seized on Saturday from rebels in the city of AlJazeera. But witnesses told AlJazeera rebel forces there were able to repel heavy government assaults on their position. And opposition fighters continue to cling to their stronghold of Benghazi, but government forces say they are on the way. The head of the newly formed interim council tells AlJazeera it's pushing for international recognition soon. OK, to Egypt now, where the Prime Minister Essam Sharaf has appointed a new interior minister. According to the Prime Minister's Facebook page, General Mansour El-Essawi, a former director of security, will take over the new cabinet position. The Prime Minister is also expected to appoint former Judge Nabil El-Arabi as the new foreign minister. The new appointments come after angry protesters stormed state security buildings in Cairo and Alexandria. They say officials are trying to destroy sensitive documents. These pictures posted on YouTube show people smashing through the floor of a security office in Nasser City trying to find evidence. And these YouTube pictures appear to show police protecting a security official from an angry crowd. They're said to have been taken in on Saturday in 6th of October City in Greater Cairo. Ahmed Gamal is a pro-democracy activist who was at the state security building in Nasser City, a suburb of Cairo.
I seen a lot of shredded paper in one of the parks. When I went up, there was I see a document about gathering intelligence about foreign students studying in some other institute. Also, I seen some videos. One video about illicit meeting between someone from a royal family in some Arab country with some Egyptian businessman. Another video having a ticket saying it's with some of it's called Fannana. It's like singer or an actress with some man. There was a lot of videotapes, a lot of cameras. I didn't see any prison cells, but there were two things I heard. One thing I heard that there was no one there, and the other thing I heard is there were about 20 people, and they said when district attorneys came, they were accompanying them to search for other secret cells.
Saudi Arabia has banned all demonstrations after a series of minor protests in the oil-producing eastern province. Mainly Shia demonstrators gathered in the towns of Qatif and Hufuf on Thursday and Friday. They've been demanding the release of all prisoners being held without trial, as well as better access to jobs. Meanwhile, rare video has been published online of the protests in Qatif. It appears to show heavily armed police confronting protesters chanting anti-government slogans. This video is linked online to the March 11 Facebook campaign, which calls for a day of protest against the ruling Al-Saud family. Oman's Sultan Qaboos has replaced 3 of his cabinet ministers after days of violent unrest.